Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look at and review the rules for the Kharadron Overlord Skyhammer Task Force Spearhead in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Today's game is played on the fantastic battle mats from our longtime supporters Mithras Games. Top quality battle mats from New Zealand that have a variety of different designs that can suit almost any battlefield you could imagine. Our formation is going to be our general, which is an Archnaut Admiral, and then unit-wise we have 5 Archnaut Company with Skypike, 5 Archnaut Company with Light Skyhook and a Thematic Volley Gun, and then 3 Skywardens and an Archnaut Frigate. Now, next we have our battle trait, and this is Fly the Skies. It's a reaction and we use it when we declare a non-charge move ability with an Archnaut Frigate. This can be used by the Archnaut Frigate using the move ability as you would think, and the effect is pick a friendly infantry unit that is wholly within the combat range of that Archnaut Frigate and not in combat to be transported. Remove that infantry unit from the battlefield, then when the Archnaut Frigate ends its move, set up that infantry unit again on the battlefield, wholly within the combat range of the Archnaut Frigate and not in combat. A unit though can't use any charge abilities if it were transported in the same turn. So this is pretty cool. Like, we have dwarves, Dwarden, they are relatively slow foot-slogging troops. The frigates and, well, in general, your skyships for your Kharadron Overlords are quite fast. So this definitely allows them just to zip across the battlefield where and when you need them. Regiment abilities, we can pick one of the following two. The first of these is Assault Boat, and this is once per battle during your movement phase. You pick a friendly unit that was transported and that unit can still use charge abilities. This is pretty nice because we do have some decent combat units here. Either our Archnaut Admiral himself is no joke in combat, we also have the Skywardens who are a decent combat unit, and also the little guys, the Kharadron Archnauts there with the Skypike can do a decent amount in combat. That Skypike is pretty cool. Disengage is the other option, and this is once per battle to use on your frigate. If this unit uses a retreat ability this phase, no mortal damage is inflicted and it can still use shoot abilities. I really like both of these abilities. I think they're both worth it in different ways. Really, it will come down to, I think, what you're playing. If you're in maybe a game where you're going to get tied up, disengage is probably the better option. But if you're maybe facing off against another gunline and you think you do have that little bit of combat superiority against them, you'll probably go with Assault Boat. Really, it is, like I said, just going to be dependent on what you're playing, but they're both solid regiment abilities. Now, enhancement wise, we've got one of the following that can be given to our general. The first is Master Raw Armor. This is just a passive ability that grants our general a 6+ ward. Flask of Vintage Gorogna is going to allow our general to heal D6 once per game, and then there's no reward without risk, which is my personal favourite, once per battle reaction, and you can use this after you've declared a charge ability for a unit wholly within 12 inch to re-roll their charge. This is pretty cool if you combine it with Assault Boat, making sure that charge does land. Leave no Dwarden behind is another interesting one because we don't have any reinforcement units. Once per battle during your hero phase, you can pick a friendly Archnaut Company unit wholly within 12 inch, and on a 4+ for each model slain, you return one slain model. Now, this is a little bit interesting. While, we don't have reinforcements and this is the only way to get some models sort of coming back to our units, I'm not a big a fan of it. A 4+, the units are only 5 models strong. If they're, even if they've lost 4 out of the 5 models, they're probably only getting 2 of them back. I think there are better ones. The Flask of Vintage Gorogna is not too bad because our general does have quite a few wounds, and a 6+ ward is okay, though I think it is definitely down the list. For me, there's no reward without risk is probably my first pick, with Flask of Vintage Gorogna is probably being my second. First up for our units, we have the Archnaut Admiral, and as I mentioned, he's got a decent amount of wounds, 6 of them. 4-inch move, 3+ save, and control score of 2. The Masterwork Volley Pistol has a 10-inch range with 3 attacks at 3s to hit and wound with Ren 1 damage 2, and of course, as a pistol, you would expect the shooting combat ability. His Scalp Hammer, on the other hand, is 3 attacks, 3s to hit, but 2s to wound Ren 1, and a whopping damage 3. Always Take What You Owed is his ability, which can be used during the hero phase, and you pick a friendly Archnaut unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. and you get to add d6 to the target's control score until your next turn. It's a pretty solid ability. Anything that adds to your control score, in my mind, is tops. Next, we have our gunboat, the Archnaut Frigate. 15 health, a 12-inch move, 3+ save, and control score of 5. Now, this model will be equipped with the heavy Skyhook variation, so 24-inch, 2 attacks, 4s to hit, 3 to wound, Ren 2, damage d6. It's also got some extra attacks from its Aether Shot carbines for another 4 attacks at a 12-inch range, 3s to hit and wound, Ren 1, damage 2, and the shooting combat ability on them as well, which is nice. In combat, it's got its cruise boarding weapons, nothing to write home about here, but it is an 8 attack profile. As with any sort of big thing, this has a battle damage profile. When it's got 10 or more damage points, the Skyhook drops down to 1 attack. And Bomb Racks is its other ability where once per battle during your movement phase, you can inflict D3 mortal damage on a 2+ to 1 enemy unit that you move over. What's really cool is it has, as you would expect for a giant airship, the fly keyword here. It's also a war machine, not a monster, so this means things like anti-monster won't actually hurt it, won't do their bonus effects against it. They will need anti-war machine. Next, the Archnaut Company. 1 health each, a 4-inch move, 4+ save, and control score of 1. Now, we have 10 models here, and they will be split up into 2 units of 5. Normally, in a full game of Age of Sigmar, this will be 1 big unit of 10, but in this, they're split up to 2 units of 5. 1 with 4 Archnaut Company armed with Privateer pistols and Archnaut cutters, and then 1 armed with an Archnaut Skypike. And then the other unit has 3 Archnauts with pistols and cutters, and then one of them with the Aethermatic Volley Gun, and one of them with the Light Skyhook. Both of those 2 gun weapon wielding ones have the gun butt profile. Now, Privateer pistols are a couple of shots at a 10-inch range, while the Aethermatic Volley Gun actually packs out 2d6 shots, 4s to hit, 4s to wound, no Ren, damage 1. Light Skyhook, on the other hand, is a 15-inch range with 1 attack and 4s to hit, 3s to wound, Ren 2, damage d3, so a little bit more punch, but much less shots. In combat, the Archnaut cutters and gun butts aren't really too much to write home about, but the Skypike itself has 2 attacks at 3s to hit and wound with Ren 1, damage 2, and the Crit Mortal ability. Ability wise, Glory Seekers is their main thing with passive ability, and the effect of this is add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit that target a unit contesting objectives. Lastly, we have our Skywardens. Now, these models have 2 health each. They've got a 12-inch move, 4+ save, and control score of 1. They have 2 of them armed with Vulcanized pistols and Skypikes, we've just talked about them, and the other one is armed with an Aethermatic Volley Gun, another gun we've just talked about. Now, Vulcanized pistols are a little bit different. They hit and wound a little bit better than your regular Privateer pistols and have 3 attacks instead of 1. Meanwhile, the Skypikes are exactly what we mentioned with that Crit Mortal ability, same with the Aethermatic Volley Gun, the 2d6 shots. Now, they have the ability Time Charges, which can be used at the end of any turn, and we pick an enemy unit in combat for them to be the target and roll a dice. On a 2+, they inflict 1 mortal damage, and this unit can immediately use Retreat ability without any damage being inflicted upon them. It's a really solid ability, and they give us some combat prowess for an army that otherwise lacks it. We've got the Fly keyword on them for fast moving and the ability to ignore sort of terrain blocking our paths. We hope this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server to check out all of our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar content.